Welcome to the Wedding Potluck, a wedding planning podcast about navigating the ups and downs of wedding planning and marriage. Hosted by wedding industry pros, Belinda, owner of Sovereign Bee, an event planning company with a roster of A-list celebrities, and Christian, aka DJ Menace, owner of an award-winning wedding entertainment company for over 10 years, along with special guests ranging from wedding vendors to real-life couples.
Hi, Christian.
Hello, Belinda.
This is número cuatro.
Episode 5.
Oh, yeah, I can't count 5. Sorry, my bad.
It's all good, baby. It's all good. Welcome back to the Wedding Potluck. To our listeners, our viewers who are watching us on YouTube, because this is also a video podcast.
I can't even believe this.
This is crazy, right? We're making moves here.
Woo, baby. That's
History
what I like
in the
to
making.
hear.
We've been talking about this for a long time.
Years.
Anyway, we're still very excited. Hopefully you are very excited too in this new journey of your wedding planning process. And today we want to continue this very important topic of choosing your vendors.
Yes.
Key people who are going to make this day memorable
Forever and ever.
and can make or break it. No pressure. No pressure. Seriously, no pressure.
No pressure.
So last episode, we spoke about photography,
Yes.
which is a big one. And I think we say this not just from a simple Google search, but based off of what we know in the industry. A lot of people are thinking about their pictures and their photos and all
Pictures
those.
are important.
Yeah.
Woo.
Those memories are going to look back on from years to come. Today, we're going to focus on something a little bit more dear and near to one of our hosts here. I know if you're not watching, I'm pointing to the person next to me. Her name is Belinda, aka Miss Sovereign Bee herself, who happens to be what are you again? Cuban? No.
A mess.
No, today we want to focus on...
I am Cuban and I am a mess. But I'm also a wedding planner.
And she's also a wedding planner. So today we want to focus on wedding planning services, which I know there's a lot of different intricacies to wedding planning services.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes, I think it's getting better though.
Okay.
I feel like they were overlooked for a long time.
I feel that way as well.
I feel like it's becoming more popular.
It's necessary.
Yeah. Maybe it's the busy time that we live in. Maybe it's just this new
Keeping up with everything.
way of planning. So I have some very important questions today for our expert, right? We don't have to really, maybe we'll have some planners in the future, but for today, we're going to stick with the planner. The planner.
For today's just me.
The fairy godmother of weddings, some would say. And I have some questions here that I'm going to pull up.
And going right into this.
The first one, the people want to get to the nitty gritty. So before we get into all like the technicals, what made you, Belinda, want to even become a wedding planner? Why? I picture you more as a break dancer or something.
Well, I'm a dancer too. So actually, this is a kind of a long story, but we're going to go into it. So in 2008, I worked in radio, right? I was interning. I was a traffic announcer, right?
Oh, like on the
I would
BQE.
say on the in the Lincoln Tunnel, there's 10-minute delay on northbound side, like that. That's what I used to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always wondered who did that job.
Me.
Like in the mailroom, or were you like in the studio?
No, I was in a studio. Fool, stop. Anyway, I started there, and then I started working in radio and in marketing and promotions. And then I was let go, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I started doing flowers.
Flowers?
Yes.
I'm learning something here, guys.
Yes.
I didn't know the flower thing. I knew the radio thing. The flower thing kind of just snuck up on all of us here. Okay.
I went next door to the radio station that let me go, and there was a big floral shop there. His name was Jonathan. He was Uber. I don't know I think he moved to Florida now, but I went in there and I was like, hey, can you teach me the ropes? Like, I want an apprenticeship.
Okay.
Right.
So you're willing to learn.
Yeah, I was willing to learn. So he kind of taught me some tricks, and he actually taught me a little bit about wedding planning, because he said to me, if you ever have a bride you don't like, don't take her. Like, it's not worth it.
Great
it's
advice.
a special day.
Still lives to today.
And when I don't vibe with a bride or a groom, I don't take them.
You shouldn't.
I'm like, it's not a good fit, right?
Nope.
So I did flowers for a while, and then I realized flowers were dying on me, and I wasn't a good caregiver. I don't have a green thumb.
Dead centerpieces.
Dead centerpieces, stuff like it was a little bit disastrous.
Oh, wow.
I pulled it off the few times that I did do big ones, but that's how I did some green rooms, what they call at concerts. So I would do like for the artists, I would decorate their room with them.
Okay.
And one time I had something for J-Lo, had me running around all day. That's another story for another time.
Wow.
But
J-Lo.
So one, I don't know how, somebody said to me, "Hey, do you want to help this person out in their wedding? They need somebody to help them the day of." And I go, "Like a wedding planner?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I can do it. I've done concerts. I think I can do it." Fast forward, I did 1, I did 2, I did 3, I did 4. And then I was like, "Oh, I kind of like this. I kind of like organizing people's big day." And then I just started going into it more, right? And then I love. I haven't had any luck in love, but I love seeing people in love. I'm not one of those, like, I'm not, what is that? Jaded.
Oh.
I'm not jaded at all.
Right. You're not bitter when somebody's doing their first dance.
No. Like, I'm like, only when they pick a horrible song, I'm like, gosh,
yeah, I think we're all
right?
like that,
But no, like, I love it. I don't cry much at weddings. You're like, "Oh, you don't cry?" And I'm like, that doesn't mean that I'm not in the moment. I just,
correct.
Not a person that cries a lot, right?
Different way of showing emotions.
What?
Just a different way of showing your emotions.
But I do, like, there's been times that I have teared up depending on what they say sometimes. Like our first looks and speeches, stuff like that. I love, like, I love when they turn around and they see each other for the first time, and when they're walking down the aisle, and when everybody's clapping. I just like the whole, right? And I like for the person to be able to enjoy their day.
Okay.
I once did a client appreciation party, and I felt as if I was the bride and nobody was holding my hand, and I felt all over the place. Everybody wanted to take a picture of me. Everybody was pulling me in different directions. And it was like, I was like, "Oh my God, I feel like a bride right now. This is why they hire me, because I need a me in my life right now, so people can leave me alone for a second and ask somebody else where everything is or what they need and so forth."
Right.
So
talk to the wedding planner.
talk to the wedding planner, but not me today.
Right.
So therefore, I feel that there is a need at everyone's wedding to have someone assist them that's not family or their maid of honor or their matron of honor, because this person needs to be away from all the family life to be able to organize everything that they want, like their vision. Right? Whatever you envisioned your wedding to be, you need to have someone to help you navigate that without you being at the forefront of it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's it. That's the answer to my question.
Wow. Okay.
I told you.
So you're a florist, pretty much. Is that what you said? No. Okay. All right. So I have another question here. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in? So how long has Belinda, the wedding planner, Sovereign B? I mean, I wouldn't just say Sovereign B because it started a little bit before.
It started a little bit before, but I think
that's part of your growth. Like, I wasn't always Christian from Blanc Noir Event Group. I've been DJing before that.
Yeah,
still part of your growth. No, you don't count. You don't count life before Sovereign B is life.
I do.
That's when you started living.
The afterlife.
The afterlife. That's it.
I would say I would give myself 10 years in the industry. I would say I'm in it for 10 years, business being 5 years. Okay. Because before 2020, I might have done 5 weddings a year, including yours. So, and then 2021 hit, and then that went to a straight 25. 22 came. So I think in my lifetime, I think I've done about 100 weddings so far. That's why I really don't count before 2019, 2018.
It's almost like me saying I've been DJing for almost 20 years, but I really started focusing on weddings like 11 years ago.
Yes.
Kind of like that.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when you focused on
That's
weddings.
my answer.
Yeah.
Whatever he said.
Yes. Speaking Spanish, my love. Okay. On a side note, this is a quick yes or no. Are you insured?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, yeah.
Making sure you're legit.
Yeah, I have workers' comp and everything like that.
Okay.
You know, there's nothing's gonna happen to us.
I got me some workers' comp too lately. Yeah, had to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this is personal, if you feel comfortable saying this or not. Are you full time into this? Is this part time? Is this a side
it's
gig?
full time. I don't have any other job. I'm self-employed.
Self-employed, full time.
I'm an entrepreneur.
That's it.
That's it.
Call her from 8 a.m.
No, I have boundaries.
3 a.m.
Because Starbucks doesn't open from 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. That doesn't work that way. So I'm open from 8 to 9.
Okay. That's good hours. But I'm not even open that much.
No, but it's like 3 days a week.
Oh.
For calls and stuff like that. Everybody can email me. Like you can email me. You can email me at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want. But do not call me or text me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Man.
I've let brides go.
Well, that's a red flag.
With that bull crap. Are you kidding me?
No boundaries there.
Like, could you imagine showing up at whoever owns Starbucks, knocking on his door? Excuse me, can you give me that?
That's a good example. Is Starbucks
that iced macchiato right now?
Yeah, I need to start doing that. Starbucks ain't open. The worst is when people blow me up on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh yeah, well I tell
and
them
they're calling and they're emailing, and I'm like, do you remember you hired me for your event that is most likely on the weekend?
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I tell them once, twice, the third time.
That's it.
It's in the contract. You got to go. Bye bye.
You got to go. Bye bye. All right, but we're not going to talk about going. We're going to talk about have you.
Uh-oh.
So the question is, have you ever worked at the venue that we've chosen? So if a couple asked you,
yes,
have you ever worked at a venue that we've chosen? What is your response to that? And what happens if you didn't?
Well, they usually don't hire me when I say I didn't.
No? I got a good answer for that.
Yeah, they've told me. They're like, oh, we just didn't go with you because you never worked at our venue.
Ah.
Yeah. Damn. So I am honest about it.
Okay. You have to be.
You don't have to be honest, but I am.
Well, sometimes brutally honest, but that's actually one of the things I like about her.
So I do tell them like, oh, I haven't worked on there. And sometimes if I feel comfortable with the venue, just because I haven't worked at it doesn't mean I haven't been there. Right? I might have gone to a walkthrough there.
Actually, that is actually, now that you point that out. Yes.
Yeah.
That's two different things.
For instance, the Hudson House. I haven't done a wedding there, but I know the ins and outs of the Hudson House because I've gone to like 3 walkthroughs there.
Right.
For different things that I've done for other, for not a wedding. So I know the venue.
Oh.
I know the maitre d'. I know, I know
you do.
like, so I feel comfortable enough having a wedding there, but no, I haven't worked there.
Yeah.
Right. So it depends, I answer and then I ask, does it matter? Like,
right.
It's like a doctor, right? Back to the doctors. So have you operated at NYU Hospital? No, right. But I've operated at Mount Sinai. So it's, things are a little different, but it's still the same tools.
Get your way around, you can figure it out. And then, she kind of ran through that part, but the walkthrough thing, I always tell couples, if I haven't worked at a venue, like, hey, I haven't worked there, but I'm more than happy enough to make some time.
Yes.
Do a walkthrough.
Oh, it's included in most of the packages.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
for what you do is different. For me, it's not included, but that's almost like to give them the peace of mind that they need if I haven't performed there before. And if it is important to them, I say, look, maybe I haven't. I mean, it's very rare that I haven't, but like there's new venues popping up. I had a consultation literally today of a venue that doesn't even exist yet. It's not scheduled to open for another couple of months in Jersey City.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then
there was another one because there's another one.
Yeah.
It's in Connecticut.
But they're still building it. So I'm like, no, you haven't even been. Nobody's been there. But when it is open and going, I'm more than happy to meet you there one day. We could do a walkthrough and figure out if this is all going to make sense. So, okay. More questions for you. How do you source vendors? So before we even go to that, for those who don't know, if you're starting off with a wedding planner, which if you are getting a wedding planner, I recommend that you start with the wedding planner, right? Let's say you get the venue and you get the wedding planner, or sometimes people get the wedding planner even before the venue. But anyway, let's say you do start with the wedding planner. A lot of times they are the gatekeepers to other vendors because they have the experience of the different venues. They have experience with different vendors. And a lot of times they will, depending on your style, and I'll let her talk a little bit more about that, maybe what vendors make sense. So how do you source your vendors? Like, do you have like 1 million vendors that you work with, or like, how does it work for you?
I think I might have about 5 to 6 in every category.
Okay.
Of vendors, and mostly they're vendors that I've worked with. Vendors that deal with different cultures as well, right? And different religions, because that matters. And like you said, I'm a gatekeeper. A lot of times you might go to a venue and they provide you with a list of vendors. A lot of times these vendors give a kickback to the venue. So it's in their best interest to recommend them. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just because they are very good vendors and the venue likes the way they work and has done a great job in the venue and they're there. Okay. But how would you know that? You can't decipher that. You wouldn't know. But I know. Yeah. I know who's good and who's not and who's mediocre. Right. Also, I know who might take you for a ride as far as budget's concerned, right? Oh. You might have said to me, hey, I have a $20,000 budget for florals, right? And you're going to go to some vendor and I'm like, you know, they're not going to give you $20,000 worth of flowers. So why even go to them, right?
Or sometimes it's not even some vendors, it's not their minimum. The florist might have a $30,000 minimum. Mm-hmm. And if you're at 20.
Yeah. So I just save you time. I save you a lot of time as a planner. And a lot of times, sometimes couples will not listen to my advice. This one time this happened that they went with a florist that I did not vet. They picked her because somebody referred them to them and they gave them a great deal and they thought it was a steal and the bouquet was falling apart. They handed me the bouquet. I handed it to the photographer and the flowers started falling. The orchids started falling out from the bouquet. So I immediately just grabbed it back, gave it right back to her. And I said, the flowers are coming out. She's like, oh, just put them back in. I go, I'm not a florist. I'm like, please fix the bouquet.
Used to be. Those days are gone.
I'm like, please fix it and bring it back. Don't fix it right now in front of the bride because you're just gonna make her hysterical. Like it's right. I think she fixed it 3 times. Most of the bride's pictures are without her bouquet. And then she made some fake ass bouquet that she like put some wire and tied the orchid to make it look like it was a cascading bouquet. Wow. It was so ghetto. To put it. I was like, what is this? But I was happy that it wasn't me who picked it. I was like, well, yeah, you picked that vendor. I'm like, there you go. That's what you get. So, and now they're in court fighting to get half their money back because then the reception was late because of her. She didn't bring enough staff, so she could, and all because you got a great deal. So you can avoid all this.
Lo bonito le sale caro.
Translate, please.
No, lo barato le sale caro is the saying. Yeah. So it's pretty much translates into the cheap stuff pretty much always comes out to be expensive in the long run. So there's no such thing as cheap, really. Yeah. Because you're going to end up paying for it one way or another. But wow, that's a crazy story. Almost crazier than when you were a florist, but still not as crazy. Keep it up. I'm sorry. I'm still like amazed. I've learned something new. Okay.
It was for a very short time, like 2 years.
So with these vendors, right? So because you mentioned that sometimes the venues get kickbacks or commissions. Mm-hmm. How about you? Do you get commissions?
I don't.
Okay.
But there are planners that work that way, right? Okay. There are planners that they charge you a flat fee plus commission. Oh. And then some planners only charge you commission. So let's say I book you for $5,000. I'm going to take 20%. I'm going to tack on 20% to your price. Okay. And that's how I get paid.
Oh, I understand.
They don't have a flat fee. There's no flat fee. There's people that do flat fee and like a small commission. Correct. And then there's bigger commissions and they just tack it on. So, hey, you like Christian? Christian's one of my preferred vendors. I'm going to book him for you, blah, blah, blah. He costs $5,000. I'm going to tack on 20% to that.
I know a planner who does something like that.
But it's very important that you ask this up front. Okay. And that it's clear because I've heard of planners double dipping. So on top of their 20%, then they will come and Christian say, hey, Christian, you need to give me a kickback as well. Uh-huh. Wow. So your 20 becomes like a 35, right? So I'm in the wrong business. Make sure you ask for all receipts, because they should still provide you with Christian's receipt. So if it's being billed to me, you still should see, as a couple, you should see all the receipts and all the invoices and every line item.
Gotcha. Unless you got money like that.
Oh, well, you got money
and
like
you
that.
don't care. And they're the ones, orchestrating and because I know some planners that are doing stuff like that.
There's luxury planners. I'm not a luxury planner. So.
I've had planners tell me that I'm not charging.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm like,
people tell me that all the time. They're like, you don't charge enough.
I'm like, all right, okay. I need to, because they're tacking on maybe something, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know. This is my rate.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, good to know. I didn't know that. So then that means I should get my money back then, because I just gave you no. Okay, so
yes, so
this is a little bit deeper of a question, or maybe multi-part.
Okay.
So will you handle every aspect of the planning, or can we do some things on our own? So like if the couple says like, hey, are you going to do everything, or can we do some things on our own? So like, in other words, what parts of the planning will be your responsibility? Like, how do you
seating assignments? I can't stand seating assignments. Seating charts.
So you don't do seating charts? Okay, so that's like up front. Hey, I don't do seating charts.
A lot of times they ask me, they're like, what don't you do? And I go, I don't do, they tell me that, I go, I don't do seating charts. I don't deal with your bridal party and going to their fittings. I don't do none of that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Some people want
Some people are that involved.
Yeah. So I don't go with the bridesmaids. I don't do bridesmaids gifts. I don't do seating charts. That's on your own. I don't compile your guest list for your seating chart. So anything dealing with seating charts, it's like kind of like on your own. Like you need to give me an Excel or put it into my portal, right? And put everything into my portal. And then you figure out who's seating with who. I've done it in a few occasions, and it's been the biggest headache of my life. Like I can't stand doing it. I detest doing seating charts because I don't know the people. Yeah. There's always some kind of drama involved.
Family dynamic.
Like, family dynamic.
This uncle doesn't talk to this aunt, and goodness, I've seen it a lot.
It's like it's kind of uncomfortable. I've sat through 4 hours of seating.
Oh,
and I'm like, I can't do this.
That's good for you though, that they said, hey, I don't do, because at the end of the day, you kind of lose. You would probably bring yourself out a lot faster.
Yeah.
If you're taking on all these tasks that you don't enjoy. And
then also, every category, I give you 3 vendors. Therefore, if you want more than 3 vendors, you need to go look for them on your own. I don't go past 3. Okay. I usually do 1 that they might have somebody that they recommend. If not, I do 2 of my preferred vendors. Okay. And then I go and find somebody new, like one professional in the industry that I've never worked with, or that I've wanted to work with, and I will reach out to them. With the hopes of working with somebody new that might be very popular in the industry, well known and stuff like that. So I reach out to a 3rd, but I only do 3. So therefore, if you want more than 3 in a category, you're gonna have to go out on your own.
Okay, and that's for
every category. So it's makeup, for venue, photography, makeup, videographer, favors, food truck, bar package, officiant.
Wow. Okay.
3.
Interesting. There's a lot of vendors.
It is a lot of vendors.
How many vendor episodes? We're gonna have to consolidate some of these vendor episodes.
No, but it's good because people should know.
So this is a big one, right? Because I think when I think of planner, this kind of comes to mind. So will you provide us with a timeline of the wedding and a floor plan of the wedding venue?
So yes and yes. Okay. But it also can be, the venue can also provide the floor plan. It depends, right? Okay. I definitely provide you with a detailed timeline, as you can vouch for.
Yeah. I still probably have my PDF that you created for me too. It was like a whole deck, like 10 pages.
You exaggerate.
No, I'm serious. I was very impressed.
My timelines are very detailed. Yeah. Extremely detailed. And I do, and it's a work in progress. Like right now I'm working on one. I think it was like 20 pages. I'm like, girl,
yeah,
this is a long timeline, but she has a lot going on. She has a big bridal party.
Yeah.
She has a big family. She has like 6 sisters. Plus 10 people in your bridal party on each side. It's a lot, right? So there's a lot of dynamics. She has a dog. That's part of the wedding. So there's like so much going on. So there's a lot. So who's taking care of the dog? Who's taking care of the children? When do the mothers need to arrive? When is the makeup? Who goes first? It gets crazy. So
it's an art, I think.
It is an art. I like to think of it as listen,
I think it's
I'm an artiste when it comes to timelines. My timelines are crazy.
I like timelines because if you leave it to chance or to winging it, you're going to get nothing done.
Yeah. I had this issue one time with a venue because I sent them the timeline and I kept on asking them, is it okay? Is my timeline okay? And they were like, yes. I'm like, are you sure? Because I adapted to venues. Venues are all different when it comes to timelines, right? They have a certain time that they want you to sit down to eat if the cocktail. So they have their own slew of stuff, right?
Yeah, their own flow. Yeah.
And I had a dessert time. But at no time did it say dessert, sit down for dessert. And then they come up to me in the middle.
No, I really do. It kills the party. But anyway, that's side note.
They said to me, they have to sit down. And I go, they're not sitting down. I go, do you not see the party's going?
Oh, okay. I didn't even know you were going to say that. So, yeah, I hate when they do that.
And they were like, no, they have to sit down. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I sent you this timeline 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And at no point did you called me out on other things on the timeline, but never once
you missed that one.
Did you say they have to sit down for dessert. It's like, because we want to display. I'm like, well, they don't care about the dessert right now. So
is this one of the venues that brings it out to the dance floor?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, because if it's that, I can understand.
No, but even those, I'm like, why nobody cares about your little flambe, whatever. So like it was impressive like 20 years ago. This is like not moving with the times. Like, years ago, wow, that's cool. Now it's like, all right, man.
Some people still like it. So what they do is that they bring all these little carts out to the dance floor in the middle, and they want you all to move out of the way. Because there's like a fire show.
Right. They want hype music. They're like, DJ, play something we could come out to dessert with. I'm like, what? I'm like, when I first heard that, I'm like, okay. So you know what my song is? You got me fired up. You got me so. Yeah, I mean,
I like that song. Okay, that's cute.
I mean, I try to make it fun.
And they bring the chocolate fountain. Yes. So sometimes they want you to sit down. Sometimes people don't care, and they just move to the center of the dance when they keep on dancing.
Yeah.
These cards.
The cannolis on the floor. I don't know. Anyway, it's Easter, and people pay extra for that usually. I'm not a fan of dessert, but I also don't like sweets, so don't listen to me. I'm the weird guy.
It's cute. It's cute.
Yeah, I guess.
Works for some
people. But don't. What I tell people with that is like, don't be upset. Like if your party gets interrupted for a bit, it's gonna kill maybe 20 minutes.
That's where the timeline comes in.
Yeah,
because I think like 2 shows ago, you were talking about when there's too much going on, right? Too many distractions, and I have a wedding that's coming up that it has too many distractions. It has an outdoor patio. It's going to have an hora loca. It's going to have a DJ. It's going to have that dessert thing. And people are going to be all over the place. It's like a fourth of the party is going to be.
We've done weddings like that.
Yeah, we have.
Band, and this, and that, the hora loca. And
it's just sometimes it's too much. And that's why you need a timeline.
Less is best sometimes.
Yeah. Or like a strict timeline. Like,
right.
Let's not open up the cigar lounge till 30 minutes before everybody leaves, because as soon as you open it, you will lose most of the men in the room. Right.
But just to add one little thing to that, has me thinking of timelines. I think going back to the second episode of when we spoke about venues, sometimes looking at those venues that are hosting 3-4 weddings at the same time, because sometimes timeline, then the food gets backed up and then other things, and you're working around, like that can throw a lot of curveballs too. But that just made me think of timelines and the type of venue that you choose as well. But
I take that into consideration when doing a timeline.
Because some places are not on point where like they say that dinner's gonna be at this time, and they're like,
right,
we're late, we're behind.
I have like a scenario A and a scenario B. So if we are not able to go to dinner at this time, this is what's gonna take place.
So they have the scenario A and then scenario Belinda. Okay, cool. Scenario B. That's cool. Scenario Queen B.
You got me so.
You got me fired up. I might do a mashup with that or something. Okay. So that for me was the end of my questions. Is there anything that you want to add that maybe that I missed, or a little takeaway for our guests?
A question that I think they should ask their planner is how they communicate during the whole wedding process. Is it monthly? Is it weekly? Is it based on the next steps? For instance, I have a checklist. It's broken down into months. Okay. I have a check-in call with those that I'm planning once a month.
Come on, I didn't get any of those things.
I'm going to punch you.
I'm going to go.
I wasn't on the portal then.
I know. I get it. You big time now.
I wasn't like I'm a little bougie now. I'm a little bougie.
No, I get it.
So I have a portal and we drop everything on the portal, and then they answer questions. They ask me questions on there. I answer questions. And then sometimes I'll be like, let's just get on a phone call. It's just going to be easier. But I also create like a group chat with parties involved. Like
through the portal on your phone?
No, on my phone. I do.
Oh, so you get personal access.
Yeah. Because
is that with a certain package?
It's with a certain package. Yes.
Okay. You can't even
No, I can't even. No, of course.
Yeah. I don't even have your phone. I get the Google number. Like shows up green text. No, I'm kidding.
Is that what it does?
No, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It shows up like an Android.
Yeah. So how they communicate with you, it's very important because some people want to talk to you every day, and I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna talk to you every day. Yeah, because it's mostly females that want to talk to you all the time.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. When I've planned men weddings, they don't bother me that much.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if the man's taking the lead, also, both ways. So if I do a gay wedding, they don't drive me crazy calling me all the time. Or if men are the ones that are leading the planning, they don't call me all the time. It's usually women.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
But I think it's good that you establish those type of, I wouldn't even call it boundaries, but expectations, because I started doing that after a while too, when I saw the different needs of couples, right? Mm-hmm, so I kind of send out an email right after they sign my contract and book me. Mm-hmm. Hey, like your date is reserved. This is official. This is what you should expect next. Realistically, if they don't really need anything else, I don't really talk to them till we get closer to the wedding. Because right. I don't need to keep talking to you.
Yeah, I talk to them throughout, and
unless they follow me on the gram or something like that, and they DM me.
Yeah, I talk to them on the gram and here and there.
We keep in touch every now and then. But yeah, I think it's good because I think if you don't identify those points, then once again, you're going to have the people who's like, well, I paid for this service. Like, why can't I talk to you every day?
And my contract, the way it's laid out, it kind of says everything.
Okay.
On there.
But people don't read contracts. But you should.
Facts.
Read your contract. I can't tell you how many
times.
If
I had $1 for every time somebody said, oh, how do we pay you? I'm like, it's on freaking clause number 5. It says it right there.
I put it in the contract. I put it in the email. I send it as a follow-up email. We're talking about payment method here. Yeah, reminding them, or like with the credit card, if it's the fee or if the Zelle.
Yeah.
Still, then I'll get and then I'm like, hey, on December 22nd, I'll hit them with the dates. Like this
Whenever
is the time
they say that to me, I'm like, oh, they just signed something. They don't have no idea.
You could have put some craziness in there. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I think this was a good one.
I think so too.
Not just because you answered the questions, but because it's a very important one.
I tried to answer them to the best of my ability.
Yeah. And planning has become very important, like I said at the beginning, because of the crazy world that we live in, as far as like people being very busy and things going on. And at the end of the day, if you have the right wedding planner, this is just my opinion, you can literally enjoy your day.
For real.
What is the goal of spending all this time, all this money, all this energy into a wedding for you to be stressed out the day of, setting up, cleaning
worrying
up,
about if the florist arrived and if the favors are out, if your menus were placed correctly? Yeah. Like, you can't be dealing with all that.
Right. I mean, it's funny. Side note, it just made me think about you calling people. Would you say I'm good with time? I've shown up to my events?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're always on time.
I see Belinda's phone coming up in my phone, and I get and I'm like, oh my God, am I running on time? And I'm like,
so funny. I'm good. I do.
Yeah. You even make me feel like I'm late, even though if I'm not.
I check in with vendors because you never know. I'm like, hey, are you on the highway already?
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
is everything okay? Because I think that if I tackle the problem early on in the day, it's easier, right?
Right.
So I'll call you if you're supposed to check in at 3, I'll call you at 12, and I'm like, hey, Christian.
I'm scrambling, looking at my calendar.
How are you?
Like, am I late?
Just wanted to make sure everything was okay. You didn't wake up with a stomach ache in the hospital, because it happens.
Correct.
Right? And if I don't call, and if I wait for 3 o'clock when you're supposed to show up, and then you don't show up, then now I have 3 hours against me.
Yeah,
right?
You're playing defense.
I'm playing right.
No, that's good. That's good. I just made me think of that random. And you said, I call and check it out. She gets me every time. I'm like, oh my God, am I not late? I'm like, I'm looking at my contract and I'm like, oh my God, I'm good on time. Whew. But thank you so much for clarifying that. Thank you to our listeners and for those of you guys watching on YouTube for tuning in once again to the Wedding Potluck. We hope to see you around again for our next episode. This is Christian, aka DJ Menace, signing off with none other than
Belinda from Sovereign B.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. See you guys next time.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Potluck, your go-to podcast for all things wedding planning. We hope you found our discussions and expert tips helpful in creating the wedding of your dreams. If you have a story you'd like to share or a topic you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out to us through our website, theweddingpotluck.com, or on social media at The Wedding Potluck, where you can also find more inspiration and resources. And remember, no matter how big or small your celebration, the most important thing is the love that brought you together. Until next time, let's raise a toast to love.